Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and you join me in what I hope is the dying few battles of the wars for the Italian crown. We've marched from one end of Bavaria's shattered realm. We're marching across to another side to siege down some territory and hopefully build up some war score for our ally, the King of West Francia, in his claim to the Italian crown. Of course, Gardariki have totally destroyed Bavaria, and our army under the command of Green Grafador reaches... He's going to reach here shortly. Green Grafador is now no longer in line for succession to the... Well, he is in line for succession, but he's being outvoted at the moment for the High Kingship. So we will see somebody else being elected as High King instead of Green Grafador if Flann Sinna was to die at the moment. Speaking of Green Grafador, however, we click on him here, and we see his son is King Congus, Mock Green Grafador of Alba. Okay, so bandits have been causing trouble, and we're gonna just kick them out. So if we look here at the situation, King Congus was elected through tanistry succession as the new king of Alba on the death of his betrothals, his future wife's granduncle. So this is her grandfather, and here is her grandfather's brother, Constantine II, the Mad, as I insist on calling him, following his deranged wars against the Isles, which greatly destabilized this region and allowed me to come in and take some land to form the Kingdom of Ireland. So Flann Sinna's grandson sits as the king of Alba, and I don't know what to think about this. He was elected by tanistry succession. First of all, it's one of the complications of having House MacAlpin, having the MacAlpin and the Uí Néill both under House Céad Cathaoir. So if we come and if we look at House Néill, House Uí Néill, the Céad Cathaoir dynasty, and that includes, there's 10 houses. We have the MacAlpin, we have some of the Welsh dynasties are in here. Some of the Ivruin are in here. Here's the Macavron and the Maclaurin, who would be the dynasties that the MacAlpin would potentially descend from. Here's the Uí Néill. Here's branches of the Onachta. This is more confusing than I originally thought. So I'm probably going to make some suggestions on how this can be changed at a future point in time, but members of the MacAlpin are eligible for succession to the High Kingship. Members of the Uí Néill, as we have just seen, are eligible for succession to Alba. Potentially, we could one day see Congus ruling as King of Scotland, or King of Alba, and High King of Ireland. I might have mentioned that his father is no longer in line for the succession. He's candidate number 2 at the moment. Candidate number 1 is Ser Verthach, Mock Mel Brazil. So what we could do is try and gain the support of a few other people, or we could put our weight behind one of our sons. Rokon is being supported, and who else is being supported? We have a couple of sons that are being supported. Geralt is being supported, so we could actually throw our weight around behind one of our sons that's already being supported. And of course, we're also fearful that Green Grafador is planning to kill us. So one of the first things that Flann Sinna is going to do is he's going to go and he's going to see if he can find himself a secondary wife or wives with high intrigue skills. So Flann Sinna, reeling from the revelation that there is an attempt to kill him in the last episode, we are looking at securing some marriages to women with high, very high intrigue. So we're going to send that proposal. And we also have another eager reveler. So 2 eager revelers coming to our court. And this one has a 21 intrigue, so we're going to send that proposal. And here we have acceptance that Katrine has joined us. Now, what we're going to do, if we come and take a look at our council, our primary wife, this is our queen, She's been our primary wife for a considerable period of time, gave us 4 children, including poor Cuchurca, who was killed in battle, Green Graffador, our eldest son and heir, who's been a bit of a weirdo at the moment, quite possibly. Our immediate attention for the assassination attempt is drawn towards him. We're actually... This woman has been with us for so long. She helped us out brilliantly when we had an absolutely terrible steward here. And we are going to remove her. And we are going to make this woman, this new fancy woman, our primary spouse. And I'll click here to update my council. And she is now helping with court intrigue. So she's bringing her 22 to assist the 12 of our chieftain. And Green Graffador, look how quickly things change. Green Graffador is back in a prime position to be elected in the as High King of Ireland should Flann Sinna die. So I do quite like the stress and attempting to balance the chaos that was Irish succession, especially under Tanistry. So I'm quite enjoying this. Flann Sinna, I imagine, is not. And so our forces are on the march again. We're going to bring them way up here to the coast. Possible that we'll have complete victory before they even get there. We got no prisoners for sieging down this place, which was a pity. Flann Sinna does like his prisoners. So, Flann Sinna is being thrown from his horse. We can either go with there's a good chance here, 60% chance that he'll gain wounded, or we can lose some prestige. We can afford the prestige loss. But I think Flann Sinna, again, his military prowess is pretty much all he has to his name. He doesn't have much actual prowess, but he's always considered himself to be a martial figure. I think we're going to go with this. There's a chance he'll get wounded. There's a chance he'll get wounded. And he didn't. Fantastic. So we get the lifestyle experience, and he becomes an experienced rider. We don't have any cavalry. I don't think they're not much use to us in Ireland, so that's not a great benefit. But the lifestyle experience is fantastic. What joy, what celebration there must be in Ireland. King Helgi the Seer of Gardariki died under mysterious circumstances on the 16th of March 911. A man who was a constant feature in the nightmares of Flann Sinna has given up the ghost, and his lands have been inherited. The kingdom of Gardariki itself has been inherited by his younger brother, but he did of course have 2 children with my daughter, who he forced into concubinage. One of them, she's 14, and then the other is has been made the Count of Camersburg. So it did look for a while as though he was going to inherit some territory in Valencia, or Alicante, but now he's gotten Camersburg in what was previously Bavaria. Our army is still marching north through Germany, but presumably as soon as this ends, or possibly even before it ends, we're going to declare a war, at minimum, for the conquest of Ossory. His forces seem low. He hasn't re-established his alliance with the Isles, and he's in a war. I don't think there's a war actually for Leinster itself. So we could possibly try and take more land. We could probably try to drive them completely off the island. We're not too sure. We've gotten an omen. A local mystic insisted on seeing me, and upon being brought into my presence, he started wailing, and is that blood on his hands? The signs are not in your favour, my lord. I spilled the intestines of a hen, and the blood showed me your future. It's dark and full of death. Oh, my good man, that's not my future. That's my past. Well, that's ominous. So I have a bad omen for 10 years. So a health penalty. Oh, no. So a health penalty that's going to last for Flann Sinna just as his greatest enemy. As he's found out news that his greatest enemy has died, we're getting a health penalty. Flanders has came in and is attacking this region. I'm not too sure what they're attacking for. Again, I don't think they're attempting to conquer any of the land on Ireland. So we're going to have to see how that develops out. But King Helgi is dead. Flann Sinna stopped his attempts to invade Ireland, held him at bay, and since 891, I think, was when that battle came to an end. For 20 years, he was a constant feature in Flann Sinna's nightmares. But we've defeated him. Now let's see if we can hold out. Well, we didn't defeat him, but we held out against him. Let's see now if we can hold out against his son and Flann Sinna's grandsons. And so our poor daughter Katrina, who finally returns to us. She was promised in marriage to the Count of Odin, I think. And, of course, one of my wives is possibly sleeping with him. But, here's my poor daughter Katrina. The 2 children that she bore, King Helgi. I'm going to marry her off to this guy in Angus, which we sieged down a while back in taking control of, in defeating Alba for that part of Ireland that we needed. So I'm going to marry them off. We're going to get a bit of an alliance, not much, but it's more just so that she can have some comfort in her later days. The poor thing, the things that she has suffered. And so there it is, after almost 3 decades, a war that lasted. Bavaria entered the war in 884, and it comes to an end on the 8th of November 911. He has had almost all of his kingdom destroyed, but Bavaria is forced to recognize West Francia's claim on the Kingdom of Italy. And what do we all get? My contribution, 48%, 184 prestige. And he does increase my his opinion with me. 184 prestige, and all it cost us was a son, a marshal, and a good chunk of money. Well, no, we've managed to get a lot out of this. Actually, we made a lot of money. In fairness, we made a lot of money. We shouldn't be complaining. The loss of a son is still a small bit bitter, though. But there you go. So be it. What we can do is disband all the armies. I don't actually need to bring them home, as somebody pointed out in the comments section. I thought you did, but no, we can just disband them right where they are. And in the next few minutes, once they get kind of up to similar capacity, start looking at declaring war for the liberation of Ireland from Gardariki control. As part of that as well, I am also going to begin building a war camp at Athlone, because we just finished building the longhouse, as you can see right here. So we spoke too soon about dreams of an empire, a Gaelic empire, reaching throughout Ireland and Scotland. King Congus Macri Grafador has been removed as the King of Alba and replaced by a member of the MacAlpin. Ruled for less than a year, 17th of December to the 8th of December. So 910 to 911. Ruled for less than a year, the poor old Baba. We can, however, negotiate an alliance with him, which would make sense. So I think we couldn't negotiate an alliance with him before, but he'll negotiate an alliance now. And I think it might be worthwhile to keep him in power in the single county that he controls. So we'll negotiate that alliance. The Gardariki aren't exactly the most powerful. Well, I won't say they're not the most powerful. Their troop numbers are on the way up. They can put together about 3,000 men. Their ally strength isn't great. So we'll see if we can bring in West Francia. Even though what kind of condition is West Francia in at this stage? West Francia alone could equal them. So if we were to bring in all of our allies, we could be in a position where we could take them on. Easily we could take them on. We could form again a grand alliance and push the Gardariki off the island of Ireland for the first time in what are we into? 2 decades? 3 decades maybe? So there's our alliance signed with our grandson, Count Congus. Which brings us another 491 troops, my god. And I think with all that's after happening, Flann Sinna's, especially the death of King Helgi, what Flann Sinna is going to do is he is going to hold a feast. First thing he's going to do is he's going to hold a feast. to honor this great achievement. It's not something he likes doing. He's actually going to gain stress, but that might be beneficial to us if we get enough stress to put him over the first tier. It'll actually give him increased military and intrigue and prowess. He welcomes his friends. I don't think this on its own will be enough to stress him out. So here is Chieftain Conall MacDiarmid, the son of our great warrior and absolutely useless steward. He's one of the two counts in Thomond or Ormond. Well, Thomond. And we put coriander. We forgot to tell the cooks that he doesn't like coriander. I'm going to take this one. His face as I save him. So we'll gain a bit of prestige, we'll gain stress, and we'll gain a weak hook on him, which we might be able to use to push him towards supporting our claimant for the High Kingship, if necessary. So here we have Finn Gwynedd. We, of course, recruited him and gave him a title. So he's delighted, because he is a drunkard and an eager reveller. He loves parties. He's having a great old time, so we're increasing our friendship with him. And everyone has had a great old time. I get some prestige. Guest opinion of me goes up. I get the trait Eager Reveller, which is quite interesting because, of course, my new primary wife also has that trait. Flann Sinna has started hanging around with strange women. Suspicious women with queer looks in their eyes. To try and get up the intrigue. I think he's getting everyone. I think he held this party as much to celebrate Helgi's death and the victories of his allies in the wars of the Italian crown, and of course also probably to commemorate poor Cuchurca, who died in achieving that victory. I think he's also done this to bring everyone together to kind of which one of you is plotting to kill me. He's getting the measure of everyone around him. So we've gotten that. He's got an Eager Reveller. He hasn't exactly gone into Stress Town just yet, but if he does, like I said, it'll be slightly beneficial to us. A lot of things have just happened. Congus has died. Our grandson, Green Graffador's son Congus, has died under mysterious circumstances. Isn't that very interesting? So Congus was murdered by somebody. That invalidates that marriage. And if I am right, here's Green Graffador. Ah, yes, okay, I understand what's after happening. Green Graffador has just become he has succeeded. He has replaced his son as the Count of Gary. He's now left our court. He's taken a new wife, as he's entitled to. The succession from our point of view has become a bit more unstable. Flann Sinna is 36. He's plenty of time, Green Graffador is 36. He has plenty of time to produce more heirs. But, yeah, his son has just died. Our grandson, well, that's the dreams of a united Ireland Alba totally out the door. We could, of course, some other member of the family could be elected, but poor Congus. I think he was almost as young as, if not younger than Cuchurca. There's Green Graffador, and there he was 17. 17. He ruled, what a life he had at 17. King of Alba for a year, and then murdered, and his father takes his position. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if Green Graffador did it. I would not be surprised if Green Graffador had his own son murdered to take that throne. I think that's what Flann Sinna is thinking. Look at that contemplative look in his face. An idea just came to him. Green Graffador did this. And of course we have an empty council position because this was held by our marshal, who was Green Graffador. I've invited some champions, so I'll see if we get any good martial champions, and then I'll sort that out in a second. Okay, so we've gotten another lifestyle perk. I know I said I was going to come down promising prospects. What we're probably going to go for is a man's home. Control territory defender. We should have maybe taken this in the way back when we were fighting King Helgi, but now that we're going up against his brother, in case they manage to push us back into Athlone, we'll have a defender advantage if we're attacking, or if we're being attacked on our own land. So should we find ourselves being overwhelmed, and I might go down the Overseer path instead. It'll give me increased dread and cheaper units. It'll give me a couple of valuable things. Control as well, which is another thing that we kind of need to maintain. So I've appointed a new marshal, Paul, who sadly hasn't had any children by the looks of it, but I married him off to Dúnseach after her husband Cuchurca. Poor Cuchurca was killed in Cornwall. Our alliance, I was worried about it there for a while. Our alliance with the king of West Francia still stands. Our son won't give us an alliance though. He won't give us an alliance. When you think about it, my God, the things he could achieve with the armies of the king of West Francia at his command, or at his beck and call. We're going to see what we can do about the Gardariki. Okay, so it looks like what we can do is we can conquer the duchy and declare a war to conquer the Jarldom of Leinster. So liberating Ossory, liberating Leinster from the Gardariki, and pushing the last Viking power off the island of Ireland. They have 3,800 soldiers. We have 2,300, but we can bring in 5,000 allies if the Western Franks will join us, and I can't see why they wouldn't. And for 188 prestige, we're going to war to drive the Vikings off the island of Ireland. So I've called in two allies. I've called in France, West Francia, and I've called in the Gaul Oglig as well, just because they're a bit closer. Once we get them up to near full capacity, so there is West Francia has came in. God only knows what they'll do, and here is the Gaul Oglig. God only knows what West Francia will actually do, because they could very well not come to our aid at all and declare attack regions around this area. Here, they could actually march into Gardariki territory. This could be a weak point for us. So it'll be interesting to see how this all goes. And for the first time in a long time, we're marching back to the sites of some of our greatest victories. The defense of Athlone, when we sieged down these territories before in the past. Hopefully we will see the Gaul Oglig coming to our support and helping us. That would be awesome. It's a hefty war. It's a lot more. The colours are a lot more solid than the last time. It doesn't look like Jedward is going to be able to call in too many allies, because he doesn't have any at the moment. Pretty much just these guys with 200 and something troops. So hopefully all going well. We should be able to meet our war goals. And drive them off the island. So here's our daughter Orna. Her previous husband, the Count of Bern, passed away, and she has returned to our court after a while. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep her in the court, marry her off to one of my champions, and make it a matrilineal marriage. So that'll. There's no real great alliances at the moment, and we might be able to keep this robust trait in the family. So here's my son Urked. I think he's my son, I'm not entirely too sure. But we're going to send him to his older brother, Count Greengraffador. So Urked is 11, Count Greengraffador is 36. So we're gonna send him to take care of him. While I was looking for some guardians, what I found out down here is that Diarmaid's son, Conall, has inherited Ormond. So Ormond originally went to his brother Suvna, but he died of all these onions sticking out of his neck. The onions took over his face. Oh, it was the plague. So that's the two sons of Diarmaid, our great warrior, or two of the three sons. And Conall has doesn't have any children of his own just yet, but he's taking care of his brother. He's taking care of his younger brother. So hopefully the Dalburn, who would have originally ruled Ossory, they'd be the family of Cruel MacDonlanna. They now control Munster after they were driven out of this region. And for my other uncertain daughter, my other uncertain child, I'm sending her to my previous primary spouse to hopefully make her like me a bit more. This daughter is on an education focus, or not an education focus, a stewardship focus. So this individual is Midas touched. So hopefully, well, that should be accepted because I'm the king. Of course, it'll be accepted. But hopefully, it'll give her some solid stats. Not endorsed by my archbishop. That's nothing new. And of course, we have all these dynasty members and house members that we can call, including Green Graffador, which is quite interesting. We won't actually enact any of those, but it's just interesting to see all the various options that we have. So we continue sieging down this area. We have seen nothing of allies, and we have seen nothing of the enemy yet. In the process of hiring a giant of a knight, we can't even see the top of his hat, Moel Ciaran, we have become stressed. Now, instead of actually decreasing stress, I'm going to say, fine, we're going to throw a tantrum, we're going to cancel my plans, we're going to maintain ourselves at level 1 stress, because look what it's already done. It's popped up our prowess from, there it is, thriving in chaos. We've actually gotten a +6 to prowess. If we come to our intrigue, we've gotten a +4 to intrigue. And have we gotten something to martial as well? +4 to martial. So we've gotten that because of one of our lifestyle perks and the fact that we are at 1 out of 3 stress. So we're going to keep, we might see about trying to keep the stress in this tier from here on in. We're seeing alliances coming in. The French are actually landing in Leinster to help us siege down the area. Gardariki has a tiny little alcove up here. An enclave, which we might come up and pay a visit to. We don't want to get too far away, though, just in case they do actually land forces. So we have liberated Ossory. Let's see where we can go from here. So we're going to march our forces across the Irish Sea. The tide is out, so it's low. We can do it. We're going to march them across the Irish Sea, and we're going to attack the little Gardariki enclave in this Norse strip that's dividing Alba from anywhere sensible. And then we're going to have to look at what we're going to do from there, which is possibly sail to... Oh! High King Flann Sinna of Ireland has found peace in Christ's embrace at 66 years of age. He died of old age. A charming man, he became famous for his elaborate feasts and his grandiose bowls. Ooh. High King Green Graffador ascends to the throne. Trusting and complacent, Green Graffador's council may have more power over him than what is right. After 46 years in power, High King Flann Sinna has died of old age. I'll believe that when I see it. It does indeed look like he died of old age. My congratulations to him. There were attempts to assassinate him. I still don't know if it was Green Graffador who was behind those or not. What a life. What a life. I'm going to continue on playing as Green Graffador, especially as he did manage there at the end, and it was risky. He did manage to secure his succession to the High Kingship. I'm going to continue on playing as Green Graffador. I don't know how many generations I'm going to play as. I'm not going to go on all the ways on to the 1400s, the mid-1400s end. I was thinking of playing 1 or 2 or 3 generations of the family. We'll play on as Green Graffador. We'll see if we can achieve the removal of the Vikings from the island of Ireland. But after a long reign, a successful reign, a difficult reign, a stressful reign at times, Flann Sinna has died, and Green Graffador has managed to succeed him. I'm going to leave it there for this episode, and on the next one, we will see the early days of Green Grafador's reign as High King of Ireland. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next one.